In December of 1971, a shocking turn of events unfolded in the life of the king of rock and roll, Elvis Presley. It wasn't just the holiday season that was merry, it was a time when everything seemed to be falling apart for the man who had captured the hearts of millions. It all began at Graceland, his opulent home, where he hosted an award ceremony. It could have been just another celebration, another moment to add to his legendary career. But this day would mark a turning point, not just for Elvis but for his public image as well. As he stood proudly among the award winners, leading them on a tour of his beloved home, a familiar face caught his eye. Marion Kasker, someone from his past in the army in Germany, was there, smiling in the audience. Their eyes met, and for a moment, time seemed to stop. Elvis recalled their connection, the one that had led him to believe in a brighter future. "She's the one who made it all possible," he had often said, referring to the woman who helped launch his career. But now, as he introduced her to Priscilla, his current wife, something felt off. Elvis felt like he was living two lives, caught between the past and the present. That day, Elvis' high spirits were short-lived. The joy of reconnecting with Marion faded quickly as he returned to the grind of his life in Las Vegas. His once thrilling schedule now felt monotonous, his voice suffering under the strain of performing night after night. The relief of finishing his commitment was overshadowed by the looming concern about his eyes. After a grueling session in the studio, Elvis found himself struggling with stinging eyes, a symptom that would lead to a diagnosis of secondary glaucoma. The fear was palpable. Ray Charles, another musical giant, had lost his sight to the same disease in his youth. Elvis' world began to spin with worry and the need for comfort. Old flames were rekindled as he sought solace in the arms of women, juggling relationships while Priscilla, his wife, remained in California. The woman who had been by his side through thick and thin was not the one he needed now. It was clear that the Elvis who had dazzled the world with his charisma and musical genius was changing, his light dimming in ways unseen by the public eye. As the months passed, Elvis found himself performing with less enthusiasm, his voice losing the delicate quality that had once charmed audiences. Gone was the revolutionary rock and roll star. In his place was a performer caught in the weight of his own image. He traded his boyish charm for a grandiose act, complete with elaborate stage entrances and self-aggrandizing theatrics. The Elvis who once mocked his own fame in Vegas had transformed into a figure more concerned with maintaining an image than connecting with his fans. In the quiet moments, Elvis pondered the disconnect between who he was and who the world saw him to be. The human being is one thing, the image is another. It's very hard to live up to an image, he would reflect, understanding the struggle he faced. His life was a constant balancing act between the man behind the myths and the expectations of those who idolized him. And as Christmas approached in 1971, the cracks in his world grew wider, leading to decisions that would forever alter the course of his life and legacy. After Priscilla left, Elvis's heart ached, but his songs told a story of deep sorrow. Even though he didn't love her that way anymore, he cherished the idea of family. He had grown up believing marriage meant staying together forever. As a young man, he avoided women who were divorced, thinking they wouldn't want him. He wondered if Priscilla was seeing someone else but didn't want to ask. Maybe he was too proud or thought she wouldn't want to hear it. Priscilla was having an affair, but Elvis didn't know it yet. The people who worked for him knew, though. They often knew more than Elvis did. He sometimes thought she might like someone else but didn't want to say anything that might make her question him. It was hard for him to believe anyone would choose another man over him. For a while, Elvis and Priscilla tried to keep their family together. They promised not to tell the press about their problems. Priscilla even came to see him perform in Vegas, but she had other plans. One day, she told him she was having an affair and wanted a divorce. Elvis was shocked. They had met her karate teacher, Mike Stone, before. Now he saw her leaving as a big hurt. At the same time, Elvis's music was doing well again. His songs were selling lots of copies, even if he wasn't always choosing the best songs to make into hits. American Trilogy, a song he learned from another artist, became popular again when he performed it live. But Burning Love, which he sang for his manager, became his biggest hit in the 70s. Always on My Mind surprised everyone by becoming a huge hit around the world. Meanwhile, Elvis's manager, Tom Parker, liked to make money by doing what worked. After a successful documentary about Elvis, he decided to make another one called Elvis on Tour. This time, Elvis was supposed to talk about his life while the movie played. But much of what Elvis said didn't make it into the final movie. It seemed like he was criticizing Hollywood and the decisions made by his manager. Elvis said he was just blaming himself for his career mistakes. Despite his anger, Elvis still dreamed of getting a good role in a movie. He felt Hollywood had forgotten him. He wanted them to see he was more than just a country singer. But he kept hoping, almost begging Hollywood to give him a chance. Elvis was also nervous about performing in New York City. He thought New Yorkers looked down on him because he came from the country. But when he finally performed there, people came in big numbers to see him. He was charming and funny, deflecting tough questions with jokes. Even when asked about his past, he laughed it off, saying he was tame compared to what they do now. New York, it seemed, was ready to welcome Elvis back. Elvis Presley, the beloved king of rock and roll, found himself in a challenging situation. He was a superstar, but the pressure was on him to keep up the image that fans loved. This was hard work. While on stage, he dazzled everyone with his voice and performance, becoming more than just a singer. He was a wonder that filled the hearts of millions. But off stage, the spotlight was a constant presence he couldn't escape. Elvis knew he wasn't living up to his image as much as he wanted to. He had always relied on his team, especially his manager Tom Parker, to protect this image. Parker was good at making sure Elvis stayed in the public eye as the perfect image of a rock star. He did this by promoting Elvis everywhere, from cities to radio stations, always reminding people of the king. However, something was changing for Elvis. Parker had always focused on making money, often gambling to make quick gains. As Elvis made more money from his shows, Parker started spending it just as fast on gambling. This was a big change because Parker was known for being careful with money. He didn't chase after women or spend on drugs, unlike many other celebrities. But now, with the money flowing in, he couldn't resist the allure of the casino tables. Elvis wanted to tour around the world, but Parker kept turning down offers. He believed it wasn't the right time and that there was still lots of money to be made in the United States. But for Elvis, the thrill of performing in new places was fading. The constant traveling and performing had become like running on a treadmill, exhausting and never ending. He needed a new challenge, something to reignite the excitement he felt when he first started. Elvis's personal life was also in turmoil. He was never really away from women for long, but keeping them was becoming tough. After Priscilla left him, other relationships didn't last long either. It seemed like every woman he was close to eventually moved on. His team would still try to set him up with new women, hoping for a stable relationship to help ground him. For a while, it seemed like Sybil Shepherd might be the one, but even she wasn't interested in his unique lifestyle and habits. As Elvis faced these challenges, he had to think about what was next. The spotlight was both a gift and a burden. He had to figure out how to keep giving his all on stage while dealing with the pressures off stage. It was a tough balance to strike, but for Elvis, it was worth trying. After all, he was the king, and kings find a way to rule their kingdom, even when things get tough.